What's up, everybody? Sun's out, guns out. Sup? Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Sunglasses. What are you doing? I know Dr. Wilson doesn't recommend them, but I have a question about that, and maybe this will help get it answered, because I agree that if the windows were down or if I was outside, that I would be getting the nutrients from the sun into my eyes that it provides. But when I'm driving with the windows up and enclosed, I wonder if it's the same thing. So maybe I'll get that question answered by wearing these sunglasses in this video. We will see. Number two, goofball alert. Now I know why my thing's bouncing all the time, because when I bought the little suction cup on the windshield thing, I kind of got the one with like the extendable arm because I thought it was going to be cool and I could like kind of maneuver the camera and get that angle that I wanted. But turns out that if I would have just got the one that is directly kind of stuck on the window, it would be a lot steadier and stuff. So maybe I'll get a new one here soon. That's just a goofball mistake on my part. We'll fix that. But then number three, I guess four things, right? Number three, Carlos with the videos, looking good, man. Appreciate that. Number four, talking about cheating a little bit, right? So I'll be real honest with you guys and say that this week in particular was a little rough for me. I ended up cheating a couple times, sometimes by purpose, sometimes by mistake, and sometimes by circumstance, right? Let me be clear and say that, you know, it's never really, it's always your choice to cheat. Like, I'm very aware of this. I'm not ever blaming anybody or anything else. I think it's very important to keep that mindset, you know, because a lot of times while we're living our life, you know, certain obligations come up and you kind of have to go, quote, quote, have to go. And when you do those type of things, it's just not very convenient or very friendly for you to kind of try to implement the diet as you should. But, I think when I first started the program, probably for the first, 15 months, and I was super solid. Like, I did not cheat. Like, maybe very rarely I would. But I was also on complete and total lockdown, so I wasn't really doing a lot of things. I wasn't really seeing a lot of people. And when you kind of control all the variables, it's really easy for you to do that. But recently, I moved and changed jobs in about April of this year. So from about April to, September now? So about 5 months. You know, I'm up here in Dallas now from Houston. I got this new job. And part of it was like when I moved, I had some obligations with some friends I wanted to meet up and reconvene. And that would take you to like a restaurant or something like that. And then it's the summer in Texas. And I was invited on a couple of lake house trips. So I'd go out and do those things. And I was like a weekend away from the diet, and little knick-knack, paddywhack events that just kind of pop up and throw me off schedule. And for me, honestly, I'm learning. I don't really necessarily look at this as a bad thing. I can look at it objectively and say, like, okay, I probably could have been a little more disciplined here, and I probably could have done things a little bit differently here to stay on the diet, because I really like staying on the diet. I don't really like to get off of it. Even whenever you think you're going to have that great sinful meal and it's going to be like you're eating like in the old days and you cheat, you know, I did that once or twice now, and I can just honestly say that that old sensation that I used to have of, oh, this is so good, bro, it's not there anymore. Now it's just like, this is probably too yin, this is probably somewhat toxic, you know, this is probably throwing me off my game a little bit. Normally sometimes I'll eat and it will kind of upset my stomach, or just like old foods that I'm used to or were used to kind of throw me off a little bit. And I don't really like getting thrown off like that. So, you know, this week it was my birthday on Monday. So we went out to eat. We went out to eat at an Indian food restaurant. So it was like some chicken curry over rice, which isn't the end of the world or anything like that. But then on Friday, I didn't cook my thing correctly. So I skipped breakfast. And then like I was meeting up with some of my old friends for lunch. And I got like a burger and fries. And, you know, that's just kind of trash right there, right? I'm not saying that every now and then you can't have a meal like this. I'm just saying that, you know, in a week like this, it was just not very productive for me. I kind of had a couple of blahs on my record. And then this morning, I was really debating. My friends invited me to church, and I woke up this morning and part of me was like, I don't really know if I want to go to church. I should probably cook vegetables and do the detox procedures and stay in. But I decided, since I told them yes I would go, I would just stick to my word. And so this morning I skipped breakfast, go to church with my friends and family, and it was a great time, and I loved seeing everybody, and I'm glad I went. But then afterwards we went to brunch, and I got some food that it was like a breakfast brunch kind of place. So there's a couple things on there I shouldn't have been eating, but I ate them anyway. And now I'm sitting here and I'm looking back at the week, and I'm like, man, there was this meal, this meal, this meal, and this meal, and it adds up really quick, right? I think, pretend if you eat 21 meals a week, basically every meal is 5%, right? So if you mess up one meal, then you're 95% on the program. You mess up 2 meals, you're 90% on the program. I try to definitely stay above the 90% threshold at all times, right? I consider it a bad week if I go underneath the 95% threshold personally. That's just my own personal thing. But I will say this, since I've been doing the program a little bit longer, I am a little more resilient to these kind of cheats, right? Before, if I was doing it, it would just wreck me. It would just throw me off so much. It felt like I had to spend like 2 days to get just back on track for like one meal, and maybe it even wasn't that ridiculous. It was just like a small little thing here. So I bring all that around just to kind of say, this phase in my journey, I can tell I'm starting to try to learn exactly how to balance having somewhat of a social life and sticking to the program as disciplined as I possibly can. And I'm learning a little bit here. I don't have it figured out perfectly yet. So the summer of 2018 will go down the record books as a little sloppy, but you know what? I look at it as a blessing, really, just to kind of, again, it's a long journey, right? You're gonna have to figure out how to get good at this stuff. So now I've had some perspective and some hindsight, so I'm gonna look back at these little getaways and social outings, and I'm gonna say, okay, next time I do it, I'm gonna do this, and next time I do it, I'm gonna do this, and next time I do it, I'm gonna do this, and then that'll keep me on track. So these are my confessions, I guess, this week, is that I cheated more than I normally would or even like to. Again, I don't even really like to cheat. I think it just doesn't do anything for me. But it's also one of those things where it's like life is just happening sometimes, and it gets in the way of the program. And I'm trying to strike a balance. So anyway, that's just something I thought I'd share with you guys.